Hey, everybody there, Facebook land, Trish Copper here, coming from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. How's everybody doing on this Monday evening? Don't know what it's like in your place, but I always give the weather report because who doesn't love the weather? Was sunny all day today, but it snowed overnight, nice and fluffy, but it was sunny, so we had a gorgeous day here. And you'll never guess what. Hey, Melissa, I just heard, well, my husband just told me that we have a thing in just north of Barrie called Boots and Hearts. And hey, Ross. And I just heard from my husband that the guest at Boots and Hearts this year is the Rolling Stones. Oh my God, did you hear what I said? Boots and Hearts is featuring the Rolling Stones this summer in our backyard, 20 minutes from where I am. And that is the last place that they're going to end their tour. Rolling Stones ending their tour in Oro-Medonte at Boots and Hearts this summer. Like, holy schmoly. Have to say that. Hey, Richard. Hey, Kenny. So I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm just stunned. So it's going to be mayhem around here in the summertime. But wow, what an honor that is to know that they're going to end their tour right here in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Pretty cool. So tonight's topic is, how did eating get so complicated? Like, come on, people. Like, oh my gosh. So I spent the weekend or my days off hearing about all kinds of artificial intelligence that we have in our own homes. Like, our cars are parking themselves because we can't park them. Our cars are avoiding us doing the lane change because somehow we can't control that. Our cars are doing the cruise control for us and deciding how fast we should go up another car. Like, sooner or later, they're going to be driving themselves. Am I right? Like, come on, that is part of it. But the other part is, Alexa. I love Alexa. Don't have one. Not sure if I get one, but hey, Denise, that holy crap. I have said that, but I have to say that she does everything for you. She does your music. She does your ordering online. She gives you suggestions. She tells you what the weather is. That's pretty fun. Okay, so that is, and then the other part is there's this new thing out there with DNA testing. So everybody knows about ancestry DNA, and we all know that. So we kind of want to know where we come from. We're always a mixed bag of somebody. So just just for curiosity's sake, it's a DNA testing that you can get to find out where your bloodlines are. So that's kind of cool. They now have one that actually offers you a pre-programmed supplement thing for your health. So I'm going like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my mind here. So if you think about that, no wonder we are people that are overweight. We are lazy people, and I'm speaking for the norm here, and all of that, because we artificial intelligence and everything else has taken the purpose out of what we do in our life. Like, it's crazy. I mean, I'm just like going like, oh my gosh, and I watched this show last night, really good series my son recommended. It's called Altered Carbon on Netflix. You got to watch it because that is really kind of the future. And after watching that and thinking about my topic today, it was just like blew my mind. So Altered Carbon on Facebook, if you like the sci-fi kind of stuff, not Facebook, but on Netflix, it's a really good series. So we're really into that. So all of this kind of prepared me for the topic tonight, because I feel that with all of that stuff determining what we're supposed to do in our life, we've kind of lost our ability to think for ourselves. Am I right? Like, put your hand up. Now, if you're coming in live, put it in live. Coming in replay, put the replay. Let me know where you're coming in from, because I like to know where you're from and where you're at. And give me lots of loves, little hearts and whatever. So all of this technology has really taken the ability for us to think for ourselves, really, because we really don't have to do a lot of thinking, because there's things out there that do all that for us. So no wonder we've gotten in trouble with our health. Like, that's 100% true. That no wonder we've gotten in trouble with our health. So if we're going to take a walk back in time, we used to, or man used to be able to hunt and forage based on the season and what the land provided for them. And they always had to move, because as the seasons changed, there was no meat, so they had to move to where the meat was. So they were eating seasonally and only what the land provided. That's how simple our decisions for food was. Now, it was a hard life, a really hard life. Usually it was weather and malnutrition that kind of took people out. They didn't live very long because it was a really hard life to be able to have to travel like that all the time, and the weather really had it, and you don't have a balanced nutrition. But when we get to the simple things about it, they knew what to hunt for, what to eat, what they needed for medicine, and they knew how to do it. And that's all. Whatever the land provided, that's what they eat. And I'm a big believer of eating seasonally. So even in our plethora of food we have available, you can actually eat seasonally if you visit your local farmer's market to find out what's in season and choose to do that, because our bodies are actually, our DNA, if we're going to talk about that, our bodies are actually designed that way to eat in the seasons. Because if we eat berries in the winter or berries in the summertime, our bodies have a trigger to think that we're going into winter because we have to store a lot of fat, and the sugars actually provide that fat layer and all of that. So our bodies respond to what we're eating. And so I'm a big believer in seasonal eating as much as we can, right? So that's one thing. Now we move forward, and then we come where people were in slavery, right? So the slaves, and so there's always rich people or poor people or slaves, and the food and nutrition was based on how much you could afford or who you knew or what you did. And sometimes a lot of people didn't live very long either. Again, it was a harsh life, and you usually didn't get a lot of nutrition. So it went that way. And then we move forward a little bit more, and then we're into, the 1940s, where again there's middle class, lower class, and whatever is all the same. So that class level never changed based on how much money you had on what you could afford to eat. Okay, so that never changed. But the wars actually created a whole different type of eating, because all of the money and the economy went towards a war effort, and we were left with really basic things like flour. Like that's why Crisco was created. Did you know that? Crisco was created out of the need for, because there was no butter, or people couldn't afford butter. So Crisco was created out of that need, because you had to have something to cook with, and it was cheap. It was cheap to make, right? So all of these things you think about, all those things that, certain events in life created the different foods that we have available to us now. Now, today, still is. It depends on what your income is and what you can afford to buy. You may not be able to afford to buy the greatest things, and you may have to rely on your local food banks. Now, they are really good at making sure that there's a balanced nutrition in the boxes they provide you. I used to be dependent on my food banks in my area, so I know what it's like. But those staples that they give you are really good nutritional staples that you can build a really good meal on, a very healthy meal. So that's really good, and it definitely has improved, because there's a lot of your local community and farmers and stores get involved to make sure that they donate all the time. So it's a lot better now. But at the stores, we have this plethora of food in front of us, and then we have the fast food industry, which is also contributing to that. So our food choices for what we eat and what we want to eat are determined on not on our nutritional needs anymore. It's on our schedule. How fast we got to get out the door, where we're going to take it at, and how much time we have. And it's really kind of taken over that. So I'm a big believer in trying to cook at home as much as we can, and learning how to cook with fresh ingredients. That's my jam. And I have a YouTube channel called Cooking Outside the Box. And I created that because to show people how to take a prepackaged meal and cook it with fresh ingredients, just to make it a little bit more so they knew they could control the ingredients, and also bring their family involved, because families, and we don't cook enough with each other. Now, the really cool thing is that fresh box, or those boxes of meals that are coming to people's house. Love that idea. I think I created that, Cooking Outside the Box. So it's in a box. I thought that was brilliant, because it allows people to order certain things, and it all comes with a recipe, and they get their family involved, and they're eating very nutritional meals. And I love that idea, like all over that. So our time is constrained, and that's another gap that's been filled by some very clever people to provide nutritional meals and recipes for families to get involved and cook. So I love family and cooking. Food should be celebrated all the time. It should never be about restricting anything. You should be able to eat the food you love and not ever have to worry about it. And that's what I'm about. I am a nutritionist, certified nutritionist, and a diet-free life coach, and that's what I coach people in. Let me show you what the foods that you do love and how you can eat them and still lose weight and fat and get healthy again. So that is what it's all about. So when I talk about how simple life used to be and how complicated it got complicated because of man and greed and money and all that other kind of stuff. And then, marketing and advertising, all that kind of stuff. Why do you think that our medical costs, we're in Canada, so we don't know that, but still, you look at the US medical, it's in the billions of dollars. And that most medical costs are a direct result of obesity. People eating, like getting really unhealthy because they're obese, because they're, and even at a young age, like diabetes and heart attack and stroke. All of those are directly related to how much fat you're carrying on your body. And it's not even age discriminative anymore. It's affecting young kids as well as older people. So don't think that you're in the clear that way. But I think we have to get back to understanding, like using our own brain, right, and our own eyes, and our bring back the passion and love for food. So I love food. I love the taste of food. I love to eat it, and I love to have my guilty pleasures as well. But I'm not calling them guilty pleasures anymore. I'm just calling it food. If I want to have some chips, I'm going to have some chips. If I want to have a chocolate bar, I'm going to have a chocolate bar. Like the diet industry out there has taken all the foods that we love and created a program with foods that look like the foods we love that end up tasting like cardboard. Okay? So I'm just saying there, if you want a brownie, have a brownie. If you want to have a Big Mac, have a Big Mac. Don't eat something that looks like it that is restricted based on that. So a lot of diets out there were created to fill that gap, because somehow we lost the ability to think for ourselves and to know what food to put in our mouth to feed our body. So no wonder our health is out of control, because of what we're eating. We're not eating properly. We know that, but it's somehow the struggle is too much, and people are just looking for the next best thing as a solution. So if people are looking for the solution and they're being taught and learning methods of how to diet, wouldn't it be better if you learned the principles of how to eat properly? Eat the food you love in the right combinations and the right portions and still lose weight. So if you know that you can eat the food you love, no restrictions. We're not talking about dropping carbs or dropping fat or anything like that. You can learn how to eat the food you love in the right portions and the right combinations and still lose the fat. 100%. Why would you want to restrict your food intake? Because every diet that you go to has a restriction of some kind of food group. Fats, carbs, whatever. It has some kind of restriction, sweets, sugar, all that kind of stuff. Now we know why that is, and to us it makes sense, because I get it. It makes sense because we're in trouble and we don't know, and we're just going with what others are telling us. Well, there's a lot of misinformed people leading the a lot of uninformed people leading the misinformed. Misinformed are us, and there's a lot of people that are uninformed that are leading us into that arena. Now, if you don't know better, you don't know better. That's what I'm here to teach you. If you don't know, you don't know, and I'm here to tell you that it's time to take back control about the food and celebrating food and family, and knowing what you put in your mouth is exactly what your body needs. It is a no-brainer. It doesn't take a diet. You don't have to give up anything. You don't have to restrict it or do anything like that. It is actually a thing where you can do that, and it's super simple. So if you could learn the principles of eating in a diet-free life methodology, why wouldn't you? Okay, so, and that doesn't matter where you want to eat. So there's lots of benefits in this particular program that allows you to do that. But my point tonight is, let's get off the ability to not think for ourselves. Like, we have all the knowledge we need. We know what our body needs in their nutritional support. Once you learn that, and you know what kind of supplements are important for your body, that's it. That's all you need to do. Why leave the chance of you getting sick? So when you go on a diet and you restrict your food, this is a good example. Okay, let's take chicken skin, okay? This boggles my mind. Chicken skin or skin on a turkey or anything like that, when you cook it, and you cook it with the bone in, like people go with the breast and no skin on it, okay? So I love a bone-in chicken breast with the skin on it, because you know why? So if we think back of how did we find out that the skin on the chicken was bad for us? I'll tell you. I'm going to bring this up. There is a survey that 150 physicians and nutritionists, high-end, very important physicians and nutritionists that took this survey, and the question on the survey was, where does the fat go? Good question, right? Where does the fat go? So we want to know where the fat goes. So when you are losing fat, you want to know where it goes. It doesn't get stored anywhere else. It doesn't get turned into anything else magically in your body. It actually has to escape your body. And 98% of those people, 150, got it wrong. Only 3 people got it right. So when I talk about the uninformed leading the misinformed, that's what I'm saying, that these are physicians and nutritionists. These are the people we go to every day for solutions, and they're telling us the same thing, because that they're a general practitioner that may not have that knowledge, and thinking that you know that this type of diet or that kind of restriction is going to be like, you go to your doctor and they say, you know, take the skin off. We watch programs all the time where people are on diets, and the first thing is the chicken is boiled and they have vegetables with nothing else. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? So your doctor says, okay, get rid of the skin on the chicken, increase your fiber, and reduce your fats, right? So what does that mean even? What does that even mean? So you don't know. So then you start doing the research on the Google, right? And then it gives you all of that stuff that is so, like, don't get me started. Google's lovely, but it can give you a lot of stuff that's not right as well. So I'm going to tell you the secret between chicken, and you'll eat your chicken skin or skin on a turkey all the time. So do you know that the fat, so we're always told to take the skin off the chicken because of the fat. Well, all fat is not bad. And do you know that the majority of the fat in a chicken skin is the monosaturated fat, which is the good fat. You want that kind of fat in your system because your body likes that kind of fat. It does more with that than something that's not related to that. So people, eat your chicken skin. Okay, so no more taking off the chicken, eat the skin, because your body needs that. That could be part of a fat burning meal is protein, slow carbs, fast carbs, condiments, and fat. That's a fat burning meal, okay? The fat in the chicken skin, guess what? There's your fat. Or the butter on your potato, like and butter as well too. That took I don't know where that went to. So butter took a really bad rap, right? So in the early 1930s, it was like everybody was eating butter, and then when the war came around, nobody was eating butter. And then as the 50s came in, butter was like taboo because of all this cholesterol and stuff. And it wasn't really, that's not what it's related to, but that's how we live. So we're learning information from the physicians and nutritionists that we put our faith in, because they're telling us this, because we're asking, and we just believe them. We just believe that. We faithfully say, okay, what do I do? And they tell you what to do, and you go do that. It's the same as a banana. So the white potato and the banana are 2, and the avocado are 3 kind of things I can bring up. The banana, people don't eat it, or are told not to eat it because it's high in sugar. Well, the banana isn't high in sugar. So when you eat a banana, it's considered a fast carb. So when you eat it, it breaks down into sugar very quickly in your system, right? So the non-riper your banana is, the slower it will break down. But if you eat a banana, which is a fast carb, with a bit of protein, so say like peanut butter, now you got a balanced snack, and the 2 of them work together to break down evenly so that you don't have those spikes. So the sugar in the banana is actually good, except you got to pair it with something else. You can have it just as a snack, but if you want to pair it, say, with peanut butter or some kind of other protein like that for a quick snack, that balances things out, and they help each other break it down slowly so that your insulin levels don't spike or they don't dive, right? So that's the whole idea of eating every 2 to 3 hours, whether it's a meal or snack. And the white potato, it has been demonized for so long. Don't eat the white potato, right? So when you go and you want to eat a potato because you love your potato, you just have the potato. You don't have nothing on it. No butter on it because butter's bad, and no sauce on it because everything's bad. And do you know that if you ate a potato by itself with nothing on it, it's going to break down as quickly as a banana, because it's a carb that breaks down quickly. It's called a fast carb because of the way how fast it breaks down in your body into sugar. So the potato will break down that fast. Well, when you add fat to it, it does the same thing with the banana and the peanut butter. It slows things down so they break down evenly so you don't spike. And do you know that potato chips are the perfect balanced snack because the same as like the potato and butter or the banana and the peanut butter. A potato chip is a perfect snack. Why? Because it's infused with oil, and oil is a fat. So now you got the potato, and then you got the fat with the oil, and they're together and they're baked together. When you eat them, of course, in portion control, as a snack, it will break down really slowly, just like the banana and the peanut butter. You see what I'm saying? Like super easy, right? So a lot of people, when they choose a diet, it's a temporary thing, and then I guarantee you that if you're going to go on a diet and you're in a diet, you're restricting yourself with some kind of food group, and I guarantee that those French fries and those brownies and those biscuits and those ribs and all of those other things are going to be knocking at your door sooner or later, and you are going to indulge in them. And you're not going to just indulge in them, you're going to overindulge in them because you've been restricted for so long. So you've been told not to eat it because this is part of the diet. And what happens when you actually want to eat it again? 90% of why people gain their weight back and more is because they're restricted in a food group that they actually love, and they've done it temporarily, but they go back, and they don't go back simply, they go back hard, and they go back and overindulge in that. And the weight comes on quicker again. Because if you don't have the knowledge of what a fat burning meal is and a fat burning snack, you're going to be eating a fat storing meal and a fat storing snack, and you're going to put the weight back on really quick, and probably more than that. So those are the kind of things that you learn as in the diet-free life methodology. Now we're having an 8-week challenge right now, and if you want to, I'll put my website in the comments and join us. We're at day 14 right now and learning all kinds of really good stuff, but we're taking baby steps. We're learning a day at a time. And we're learning things, and we're learning how to apply them a day at a time. These are some snippets that I'm sharing with you from that 8-week fat loss challenge. And I guarantee when you finish the 8-week fat loss challenge, you have all the principles and all the knowledge that you need in order to succeed all the way through. So the example of a fat burning meal would be a hamburger and French fries. We all love our hamburger and we love French fries. You just can't eat them together because that's where it goes wrong. So the hamburger, you take the bun off and have your French fries if that's what you want to do. If you don't eat French fries and you love the hamburger, then have the hamburger with the bun. Simple as that. Have a salad with it. It doesn't matter. So you see how easy that once you have that knowledge of what to put on your plate and how to eat it and what combinations, you never lose that. The principles, when you learn principles, and this is in life too, you never forget it. When you are learning a method of eating with restricted food groups, you're doing it for a purpose in your life, and then what happens is everything goes wrong after, because you're going to go after those things that food group you're restricted to. But I mean, this is what I'm thinking about. How did food get so complicated? Like what we get so complicated? This is how complicated things got, people. Is that there's so much out there, we don't know where to turn. We're all looking for solutions, and I get that. We're always looking for solutions for the right methods, the right reasons. This is the right reason. If you want to learn how to take that fat off and that weight off for good, learn principles that you'll have for a lifetime that will put you in a healthy position, that will prevent you from heart attack and stroke and diabetes. And if you have that, it could reverse that as well too, just by learning what to put in your mouth and on your plates without having any restrictions at all. Because I love food, all kinds of food, and I will eat food. Now I've learned how to eat it properly, so I never have to guess at that again. It's never a chore. Every time I make a meal, I'm thinking, okay, this is a combination. And if I don't have that, I put it together. For example, I was thinking about what am I going to have for breakfast tomorrow, and I've got these oats that I want to have. So the oats is a fast carb. I'm going to soak them in coconut and honey, which are basically coconut milk and honey, which is my condiment. And then I was just going to put blueberries in there, which is fine. But I wanted the protein with it as well too. So I'm going to have Greek yogurt, or I might sprinkle on my protein powder. It doesn't matter. You see what I mean? So it makes you think really differently about what you put in front of you. So, I wanted to bring up white rice just before I end here. You've always heard that white rice is bad and white flour is bad and whatever. But white rice is not bad. There is a whole culture out there that is eating white rice and have done for years, and they are not overweight or obese. because it's how they eat their white rice, with what they eat it with, that is a perfectly balanced fat burning meal, and that is why they don't put on weight until they come over to Canada and they learn different things and they kind of get messed up. But that's why. And you know, brown rice. So brown isn't always better. It's just a color. But brown rice, do you know that it has 80% more arsenic than white rice? So any child under the age of 6 should not be consuming brown rice. And I don't care if it's organic, I don't care if it's whatever, you should not be, they should not be consuming that. So not until after age 6 should they be consuming brown rice, unless you've rinsed it like for days and cooked it right and warmed it right. That is the only way, but they should not be consuming it under the age of 6 years old because of the level of arsenic in the rice. So that's one, right? So we can't live in a bubble, and we can't live off the grid, and we can't get Alexa to do all of this for us, and our cars are not going to do that for us. So we have to figure this out, right? But we have to stop listening to the uninformed, leading the misinformed, which is us, and start making decisions for ourselves about what goes on our plate in order to get our health back in control. And this is what this is all about. This is what I do every day. So every time I find a nugget like this, I wanted to bring it to your attention so that you know that this is a real thing. So you will always have this no matter where you go. So say you're traveling and say you're going to Aunt Betsy's for Christmas, and you know she cooks all the great stuff. Well, you're going to a party. You don't have to figure out, okay, what am I going to eat and pack stuff in your purse because you can't eat anything of it because that's food groups are not supposed to touch. You know what you're putting on your plate. And if it's a snack like hors d'oeuvres before a meal, just make sure it's a balanced snack, 2 to 3 hours before you eat your meal. But the knowledge is there. You can eat anywhere, anytime, even when you go away. Figure it out. It's so simple to figure it out. And gotta start eating the chicken skin, okay? Don't be afraid. So butter and chicken skin and potatoes are back on the menu, 100%, okay? So hopefully this was helpful for you. And I just wanted to leave with a couple of different things. Robert Ferguson posted a thing on today about the BMI versus the BFI. There's a lot of information coming out why the BMI, the body mass index, is no longer an applicable measuring tool for weight loss because it's outdated, and the reason why it was made was the wrong reason. So you get wrong information from the BMI, but there's a new thing out called the BFI, the body fat index, and it's coming out. But Robert had said, and I love this, let's be the generation that reverses the cause and no longer and chases the effects. So why not? Why not us be the generation that does that and puts all of this other stuff aside, learn how to eat what's in front of you, make sure it's a fat burning meal versus a fat storing meal, so that you can actually live a healthy life and teach your children to do the same, because without you, they're not here either, right? So it's, it is really sad, but we have the power in us now that we're learning new things that we can actually change and have a huge effect. So as we learn and you learn and tell other people, we all learn together. So if you love food and you want to celebrate it again, and you're tired of the yo-yo dieting and you don't want to do it anymore, and you don't want to rely on somebody else making decisions for you, including Alexa, then in the comments below, check out my website, sign up for my free newsletter. Got lots of good things in there, and you get a free cookbook to start with, and also there's a challenge in there. If you sign up as a member, you get the challenge for free, and you can go back and take the challenge whenever you want. Really, really good stuff. And like I say, we're only on day 14, right? So I hope you guys got value from this, and I wish that everybody would have this. And so I am really passionate about this, as you can tell, because it's making a difference in a lot of people's lives, and people are getting it. So if you want a one-on-one coaching or group coaching in an atmosphere like this where we do on the internet, super cool. That's what I do as well too, okay? So private message me if that's what you want to do, but go to my website first, check it all out. It's all legit, and take out the nuggets that you want and give me a shout. Love to help, okay? So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you tomorrow night. Don't know what's going to inspire me for the subject, but we'll figure it out, okay? So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And also, there's a share button, bottom left-hand corner. If this isn't for you, because you've got your eating down pat and you're not confused about what goes in your mouth, get it. But if you got somebody that you know that needs that, get the share button, put it in front of them, because this is the only way this information is going to get out, if we share it amongst each other, because that's what we should be doing, right? Okay, so I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and cheers. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see it. That's going to be Tuesday. Yes. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. Cheers. Bye.